Dumps and Stevens. This poem corresponds to chapter 14 of Yuppies Invade My House at Dinner Time. The title of that chapter is Feast or Famine. To me, this chapter sort of seemed like miscellaneous, to be honest, but I was able to tie some things together and make some points that I didn't make elsewhere. So there were a few really brief entries that I want to bring up. So there's one titled, California Man Has a Dream About Hoboken, and he dreams about being a student at Stevens Institute. And so I took the kind of idea of like being in college and the dreaminess of it, and then continuing on 173, there are two brief letters. One is by Ralph Ruggieri, who writes in pretty frequently and is definitely a notable resident. Ralph is like a kind of self-made man. He takes it upon himself to educate himself. And he's very well read. He has very witty responses, and he has a lot of opinions, and he's not afraid to voice them. So Ralph, in this section, basically is just complaining about people sort of attacking him and his opinions. And he particularly, voices his rebuttal to someone who's calling himself Big Joe Longshoreman. And so he's basically like patronizing him, and he's insulting his intelligence. And then after that, another writer and reader responds to Ralph and says, he just should have his own section since he has so many opinions and so much free time. And then they sort of continue on and like have all these riffs on Ralph. But he certainly makes the book a lot more interesting to read. So with all of that, I created this poem, which is formatted kind of like a letter. I think it doesn't necessarily follow like a single opinion or perspective, but the idea is like someone writing about the importance of getting a college education, and it's addressed to someone who is working on the dock, and it is signed "Sincerely a Concerned Citizen" because there are moments throughout the book where people will sign off with things like that when they're concerned about certain issues. In addition, I make a reference to Sybil's cave or cavern, which is located on the New Jersey side of the Hudson. And it used to be a place where people could visit. So it was definitely like a tourist attraction, but it is no longer open for visitation. So again, it's kind of like someone writing from university. Okay. Dumps and Stevens. Mr. Longshoreman, this is a matter for the editor to handle. This is a matter for Ralph to chime in on. It is unkind to refer to someone as a blockhead unless their head is indeed shaped like a block. Ivy Leaguers simply had the advantage over you from the get-go. No, there are not a few but many forms of college students, and fair and square, those that boast walks between willows are invited as if Parisian lights. All the mysteries and amenities Poe wrote about, disappearing, reappearing letters, they surface here. Any 2:10 call of the duck may draw you in closer, even get you to write your family on the charm. A quiet place by the water, in between worlds, will inspire in you. You'll rasp back of your dives in and out of Sybil's enchanting cavern ways. You'll be a freshman at last, afflicted by fun, settling into the mysteries of cigar-ass chats and deep, deep prose you never figured you wrote. But Hoboken was way ahead, as if a lighthouse drawing you to shore. And once the student gets inside, the child goes their way. Take part in creating a world well-traveled between your name and your uni. Sincerely, a concerned citizen.